Assalamu alaikum student. Today we discuss the topic of the chapter waves, that is the properties of waves. Topic is diffraction. We will study what happens when wave is passed through a narrow opening. Imagine there are 30 students inside a classroom. There is a classroom. In the classroom, here we take the 30 students. 30 students inside the classroom. There are two doors. One door is here and second door is here. One door is very wide and the other door is very narrow. From which door will students spread out more after coming outside? Tell me the answer of this question. From which door the student more spread out after coming outside the narrow door? Exactly, we will learn that wave behave in the same way. When the student come out from this narrow door, they are spread out. When they come out from the wide door, they go to straight because this is narrow, and when they passing from this door, they after passing from this door they spread out, but when they passing through the wide door, they going straight. So we learn about this behavior of the wave, and this behavior of the wave is called the diffraction. So here we write the definition of the diffraction. What is the diffraction is? There are three important words in this definition. What first word is, that is the spreading. What means the spreading? Spreading means moving outward in different direction. Spreading means moving outward in different direction. Here we draw the waves. Let's suppose these are waves, and when these waves after passing through a narrow gap or obstacle, they are spread out in different direction. This spreading out in different direction is called the diffraction. Okay, next we discuss that the gap. What the mean is gap. Gap mean an opening between the two barrier. This is the barrier, and the opening between these two barrier is known as the gap. When the wave is passing through the gap of this barrier, they spread out after passing through it. And what's mean obstacle? Obstacle mean anything standing in the path of the wave, that is the obstacle. That barrier is standing in the path of the wave, that is called the obstacle. When the student is passing through the wide door, they less spreading out. They going straight, they are not spreading out. But when they passing through the narrow gate, when the gap of the door is small, then the students are passing through this gate, they are spread out after passing through these. Gap is wide, the entire waves or entire student that is passing through it, that is keep moving in the straight, and the less diffraction is here. So when the gap is wide, we use the narrow gap. When the door is narrow and the narrow gap is, so when they are coming out from this narrow gap, waves, when the waves are coming out from this narrow gap, they are spread out. So it shows the more diffraction. In the wide gap, they show the less diffraction. In narrow gap, this shows the more diffraction. That is depend upon the two things. Diffraction depends on two things. That is the gap size, and second one is the wavelength. So diffraction depend upon the two things, that is the gap size and diffraction. Diffraction is occurred more when this gap is approximately equal to the size of the wavelength of the wave. Gap that is approximately equal to the wavelength of the wave. When here we take the example, that is the wave that is passing through this gap. When the size of the wavelength of the wave is same as the size of the gap, so when the size of the gap and the wavelength of the wave is approximately equal, it shows the more diffraction of the wave. The waves are spread out more when they passing through this gap, when the gap is equal to the wavelength of the wave. So here we write that when the gap is equal to the wavelength of the wave, it shows the maximum diffraction. Hope you learn this concept. And when the gap is larger than the wavelength of the wave, here we take the large gap, so it shows the minimum diffraction. Maximum diffraction only happen when the gap is smaller and is equal to the wavelength of the wave. It's so maximum diffraction. If the gap is large, so it shows the minimum diffraction. And next topic that is we discussed here, that is the why does not speed is change. Before the gap, the wave is traveling in water. Here we suppose that these are the water waves. When they are moving in the water wave, after the gap, where is it traveling? It's traveling also in the water. The medium is same. Medium is not changed. Speed is only changed when we change the medium. In the case of diffraction, wave is traveling before the diffraction in water, and after the diffraction they also move in water. So the medium is not changed. When the medium is not changed, since speed is remain the same, so here we write that is about the speed of the wave in case of diffraction we discuss. And second we discuss here, why does not the frequency is source is that is the same before the diffraction and after the diffraction. So it's produce the same number of the wave every second. So frequency remain the same. When the speed is not changed, frequency is not changed, then the wavelength is also the same. Wavelength is changed only when the speed of the wave is changing. So speed is does not change. So the wavelength is also remain the same. That is all we discuss about the diffraction. One more question we discuss in the diffraction, that why the light is not diffract much? Why cannot we see someone when is someone is standing in the corner? We cannot see them when we are here because the light has a very short wavelength, so they are go in straight line after passing through the size of the doorway. So in everyday life, light travel in the straight line. Light travel in straight line because the wavelength is very short. Next we discuss about the sound diffraction. Here we discuss about the light diffraction. Now we discuss about the sound diffraction. Here we take the example, that is here is mother, that is calling you. You are here and the mother is in the kitchen and you are in the room. So when the mother is in another room, the door is open, you cannot see her, but you can hear her voice. Why you can hear her voice? Because the sound reach us. Sound wave, that is after passing through this gap, they are spread out in all direction. So that's why you can hear your mother voice, because the sound wave diffract more sound. The sound waves is diffract more because it's spreading more. That's why we can hear the someone voice if you cannot see them. That is all about the sound diffraction. So here the three concepts we learn in this topic, that is the properties of the wave. That is three concepts we learn in the properties of the wave: reflection, refraction and diffraction. Hope you learn this concept of the diffraction. In the diffraction is not wavelength, frequency and speed is changed, only the direction of the light is changed. Light is light or sound waves spread out after they passing through a gap around an obstacle. That is all we discuss about the properties of the wave, that is the diffraction. Hope you learned this concept of the diffraction. Thanks for watching. Allah Hafiz.